We're doing this. Okay, so this is my hair now, and I'm trying to grow it out because I think I look better with long hair. And I've been on this like decade-long cycle of grow it out, and then I'm like, oh, it's too hard to take care of, so I trim it a little bit, and then I'm like, just cut it off, because I also like having short hair. I don't mind how it looks, but then I just wish it was long again because I enjoy having long hair better. Exactly like that. So since this pieces have grown out some, I want to trim them because I think I look better with little wispies framing my face. Not like full bangs, because my husband does not like full bangs. I like full bangs well enough, but in Texas they get really hot and they just stick to your forehead. And ain't nobody got time for that. That's way too overstimulating. But if you have little curtains, wispies, you can just push them to the side. I like to be able to not have things in my face sometimes because I do get overstimulated. So I figured while I did this that I could talk about some stuff. Where's my Call Me thingy? Found it. And then my brush. Figured while I was doing this I could talk a little bit about our house and like why we're selling. It's been 6 years and a lot has happened in that time, but I'll be brief. You know, oversharing on the internet's not a super great look. Okay. I did my makeup because at some point there's always a trust the process moment, and the makeup is fortifying. I've done this quite a few times before. I like to trim my own bangs because I'm very particular about the shape of them. I think it's just that I get impatient and I want it, when I want it done right then. So, and because I know I can do it, I go ahead and do it. Clip this up. I can't see what I'm doing. This guy. Ow. Just hold that. I might need more. I'm gonna get more bad over here. I think that's gonna be better. This really wants to be on that side. Okay. Fine then. I'll get it wet in a second and it'll be fine. So I'm gonna do the longest part like right at my chin and the shortest at my cheekbone. Time to get it wet. Let's get it wet. Ah, I got it in my eye. I'm fine. Let's just go ahead and make the first cut. Just dive right in. I'm cutting this with regular kitchen scissors, as this kind of behavior requires. They're pink. That counts for something, right? We're gonna grab that. We're gonna do to our chin, and then a little bit, and cut that off. Ta-da! They work. And now we're in this. Let me talk about the house instead of narrating what I'm doing. So I moved into this house in 2020, in January of 2020. We had like 2 months in this house before COVID hit. And when we moved in, we thought, oh, we'll just be here for 2 years. It'll be just like an in-between house. And then of course, COVID changed all that because it did crazy things to the housing market. So we've been here 6 years. When we moved in, there was like a 3-month lapse where we had to live with my husband's parents and our stuff was in storage. And during that time, the storage unit, we did not realize until we went to go pull everything out, had mold in it. So we lost a lot of belongings. We lost anything that couldn't be remediated. Like we lost our couch, our mattresses, all that stuff. So that was not a great way to start off living in this house. It's probably the worst way you could start off living in this house. But not the worst. No, because whenever we were living with my parents, I found out that I was pregnant. And then right after we moved in February, I lost the baby. Actually, no, it was like 2 weeks after we moved in, we found out I had lost the baby. So we started off living in this house with mold in our storage unit and a miscarriage. Not ideal. We chose this house because it didn't have the big backyard at all, but we chose it anyway because it has this huge nature area out front that we love. We didn't know at the time that my son was autistic. He was diagnosed the next year, 2 years after we moved in, and he's at flight risk. He can't just go outside and play. There's a big road, and there's just a lot of dangers. So him going outside required extra supervision. That was just too much for us to be able to take the most advantage of that. So he was left with very minimal outside playtime. Cut. I feel like I need to how are we doing? Pretty good. I put too much in that shortest part. So Jensen started therapies. It was a school program with therapies built in, and that was a huge blessing because we didn't have to pay for any of his therapies. We had just happened to live in the right county that he was eligible to go to this school, and it was a great program. He did that for like 2-3 years. But then that same year that he was diagnosed, we found that there was mold in our house. And we had to start remediating that. So we had to start remediating. We hired a company to come out. And then we also had to replace some interior walls, just a few places that had some that we found anyway. We found out about all that because I was sick for like 6 months straight. I just had, my allergies were going crazy. I was coughing, couldn't stop. I felt like I would heal and then it would just come right back, and I was like, this is not just sickness, like this has to be environmental. And sure enough, we've been healthy since then, so thank God that that worked and we're all doing better. Brush it all forward, see if we're looking symmetrical. Nope. What is happening? And then we were just kind of spending the years slowly renovating when we had the money to, but once our son was diagnosed autism and we realized our tiny little yard wasn't going to cut it for him, we knew we needed to move. But also my oldest son grew, and him and my 2 sons, like, sharing a room just wasn't working because Jensen doesn't sleep like a normal or a neurotypical person, I should say. Sometimes his sleep patterns are just erratic, and so Asher was struggling, so they needed their own rooms, and this house only has 3 bedrooms. So, you know, it didn't take long for us to realize this was not going to work. This house was not going to work, but the interest rates had gone up and the market went crazy because of COVID, so we were kind of stuck here. And then during that period, in 2004, we had another miscarriage. That was my 3rd one. We had one between my 2 sons, one when we first moved in, and then another one in 2004. This is already looking better. I like how wispy it looks. But it doesn't want to part strictly down the middle. And that's okay, because it's supposed to look kind of just nonchalant. I think we're ready to blow dry and see where we're at. I always end up changing more once I blow dry it. Okay. I feel like I still, that should I not fight it? Because it just wants to be, I think that might be just where my hair parts, and then I should cut accordingly rather than fight that every day. Let's see what it looks like all down. See, that looks better. I think I do need to still just take a little bit off right here. I like that one. This one's not doing the same. It needs a little more blue. Oh, it's getting hot in here. Sometimes I just do that, so maybe I just leave it. I could call that done. What is going on? This needs to be blended. What, look at that. I got the bulk of it when it's wet, but there always seems to be, I need to do this once it's dry because you can see it separate better and you can see how it like really lays. Yeah. I think that did it. Now it's getting the same kind of, that's the technical term for it. I think I did that inverted that time. Oh, yeah. I just needed to bring some more weight up. I have the new Taylor Swift song for Toy Story 5 stuck in my head, but just the one line, I knew it, I knew you. Just the hook, because I don't know any of the rest of the song. This is where I typically get into trouble, and then I end up making it too short. I forgot what I was last talking about. Miscarriage. What a great place to leave off. So, I had another miscarriage, and we just continued on in the way one does. Wrote a song about it. It's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but it is. You know how it is. I hope you don't know how it is. Okay, I think this is looking good. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it, but I'm gonna flat iron it and double check. So then the next kind of event in the saga was us leaving our church that we had been at. And I cried and I hated leaving that church. But over the course of COVID, they had moved from where we live to an hour away, and they were no longer a local church for us. And so that didn't work, especially with Jensen. It was just too hard to sustain driving like that. So we left our church and tried to find something local, but then we realized that finding a church with an autistic child, it's not easy. Anyway, so that, like I mentioned in my last video, that's been an ongoing thing, trying to find a church. And now we're moving, so it feels like kind of we should just wait until we know where we're going to live to find a local church, because we're not exactly sure what is going to be local. So we're looking for a church still, and we're just kind of trusting the process. Do the next right thing. And right now we feel the next right thing is selling our house. But we haven't had a whole lot of interest yet. It's been on the market for like a little over 20 days. But the market's not what it used to be. So, I mean, when we sold our last house, it took 2 days, one showing. And my realtor assures me I should not expect that. Oh, what's the matter? Okay. So that looks better. Ooh, the put it behind the ear test. Oh yeah, nailed it. and I can put it behind my ear, and it won't fall out. Oh, that will fall out though. So anyway, was there anything else I wanted to say? No regrets. I don't think there's anything left to say. I guess I could say what we're looking for in a new house. We just want, all we need, like this house is fine. We like the size of this house. It's only 1,200 square feet, but we like it. It's not too much, not too little. All we need, well, it is too little. It is too little because Nick doesn't have a, that's what I didn't say that earlier when I was talking about this. So Asher and Jensen couldn't sleep together in the same room, so we had to give Nick's office to Asher as his own bedroom. And now Nick's now, why did I put my tongue out like that? And now Nick's office is in our bedroom. So when he's up late at night, click, 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 I can't sleep. And so he needs his own separate office because also he works from home sometimes. And as the breadwinner, it's good for him to have his own space. Then we also obviously want a bigger yard for Jensen to run around so we can have a playground and a trampoline and get all of his excess energy out because he's a deep pressure sensory seeker and I can't do that inside the house all the time. It's driving me crazy when he wants to do outside things inside. So anyway, been wanting to sell this house for about 4 years now. We're finally doing it. Good memories, bad memories, but that's just how life goes. They're all mixed together and then you keep walking and then in the end, the good ones you remember more. Okay, I'm stopping. I gotta show you the carnage.